Hello, I'm Dr. Lisa Belisle. You are listening to or watching Radio Maine, where each week we explore and celebrate creativity and the human spirit. We are sponsored by the Portland Art Gallery in Portland, Maine. This is the 19th episode of the Bountiful Path, a Radio Maine series. Today's reflection is called The Listening Bench. I have come to believe that benches often find us before we find them. Over the years, I have encountered benches in many different places. Along the West Side Trail in Yarmouth, where I run, near hospital paths I walk during breaks between patient visits, and in places of personal meaning, including a bench dedicated to my father. These benches have become touchstones, reminders of the value of pausing, noticing, and listening. Some of the benches along the West Side Trail sit in quiet places tucked beside stretches of pine near boulders worn smooth by weather or overlooking sections of the woods where the light changes quickly with the season. On certain days, I run past them without looking. On others, something within me tells me to stop. When I sit, even briefly, I often notice details I would have missed in motion. The sharp scent of evergreens, the distant sound of water, or the way the wind moves differently at the edge of a clearing. During my clinical years, I walked on paths behind the practice between patient visits. Sometimes I had only 3 or 4 minutes before the next appointment, but even in those short windows, pausing on a bench allowed my nervous system to settle. Sitting down helped me release the tension of the previous visit so that I could enter the next room able to be present again. These benches became small bridges between stories, giving me enough stillness to begin the next encounter with an open mind and an open heart. The bench dedicated to my father holds a different sort of significance. He practiced medicine for nearly 5 decades. He listened deeply. He shaped generations of physicians. And he shaped me. When I stand near his bench, I feel as though I am stepping into a conversation that began long before I arrived. I imagine him noticing the trees, the water, or the weather. I imagine him sitting beside me, saying nothing, simply honoring the moment. His bench has become a place of grounding, somewhere I can bring questions, grief, gratitude, or uncertainty, and find a measure of steadiness. Benches ask nothing of us, yet they offer much. They are invitations to pause the velocity of a day, to step outside the current of responsibility, and to reconnect with what our lives are actually asking of us. They create a moment where listening becomes possible, listening to the world around us, to the emotions we carry, or to the quiet guidance of memory. In my writing on the Bountiful Path, I often describe the benefits of slowing down and noticing what is already present. Benches embody this practice. They are simple structures that create a container for stillness. They remind us that clarity rarely comes when we are rushing. It comes when we sit long enough to let the noise settle. I have seen this in my patients as well. Many of them reached metaphorical benches in their own lives, moments when illness, transition, or grief required them to stop. These pauses were rarely welcomed, but often necessary. Once they settled into the moment, they could begin to understand what their bodies or hearts were trying to tell them. Pausing is not a weakness, it is wisdom. So this week, I invite you to find your own listening bench, a place to sit quietly, to breathe deeply, and to hear what your life has been whispering beneath the noise. If reflections like this resonate with you, I invite you to join me on the Bountiful Path, my newsletter on Substack, where I write about presence, creativity, and the practices that help us navigate the complexity of daily life. I'm Dr. Lisa Belisle. Thank you for listening to The Bountiful Path, a Radio Maine series sponsored by the Portland Art Gallery. May your listening bench offer you clarity, steadiness, and a quiet sense of being accompanied.